Taiwan Strait, 6:24 a.m., January 28, 2026, the day China tried to strangle Taiwan. 87 Chinese warships, largest naval operation since World War II. Destroyers, frigates, corvettes, Coast Guard cutters, all converging on Taiwan from 3 directions: north, east, south, complete encirclement. China's plan: total blockade, cut off all shipping, starve Taiwan into submission, force surrender without invasion, avoid American intervention, bloodless conquest. Beijing's calculation: Marines trapped on island, U.S. Navy too far away, Taiwan isolated, perfect moment. But China made 6 catastrophic miscalculations. First, those 240 Marines weren't trapped. They were positioned, armed, ready. Second, USS Carl Vinson Carrier Strike Group wasn't too far, was steaming at flank speed, 40 minutes out. Third, 4 Japanese destroyers were already in position, waiting, hidden. Fourth, 72 F-35s were airborne, invisible, deadly. Fifth, 16 submarines were underwater, surrounding the Chinese fleet, targeting. Sixth, blockade isn't peaceful, it's act of war, and America doesn't negotiate with blockades. 41 minutes, 87 Chinese ships engaged, 23 sunk, 34 crippled, blockade shattered, Marines extracted, Taiwan free. This is Operation Stranglehold broken.
48 hours earlier, January 26, 2026, Beijing, Central Military Commission Emergency Meeting. President Xi Jinping to assembled generals. Taiwan's new president continues provocations, declares permanent separation. We cannot invade. Too risky, too costly, international backlash. But we cannot accept independence. Solution: blockade, peaceful quarantine, force negotiation, no shots fired. World cannot object to peaceful measures. General Zhang Yaoshe, Vice Chairman CMC. Sir, blockade means war, international law. Blocking ports is act of aggression. United States will intervene. Xi, Americans talk, don't act. They have 240 Marines on Taiwan, training mission. If we blockade, they're trapped, hostages. America won't risk Marine lives attacking us. They'll negotiate, pressure Taiwan to surrender. We win without fighting. Decision made. Operation Stranglehold approved. Deploy entire East Sea Fleet. Surround Taiwan completely. Begin January 28th, 6 a.m. People's Liberation Army Navy mobilized everything available. Total: 87 warships, most powerful Chinese naval operation ever. Positioned to form complete ring around Taiwan. Every port covered, every shipping lane blocked. Total isolation. Meanwhile, Taiwan, Taipei, 240 U.S. Marines from 3rd Marine Littoral Regiment conducting routine training exercises with Taiwanese forces. 2-week deployment, scheduled to leave January 30th. Captain Jake Morrison, Marine Company Commander. Marines, we're here training Taiwanese allies in amphibious operations. Standard mission. 2 days left, then we go home. Keep it professional. But at Pacific Fleet Headquarters, Pearl Harbor, different conversation. Admiral Samuel Paparo, Indo-PACOM commander, received intelligence. Chinese naval forces mobilizing, unusual activity. All available ships departing bases, heading toward Taiwan. This isn't exercise. This is operational deployment. Warning transmitted to the Pentagon. Joint Chiefs convened emergency meeting. Assessment: China preparing blockade operation. attempt strangling Taiwan without direct invasion. Orders issued. USS Carl Vinson Carrier Strike Group, stationed 400 miles east of Taiwan, proceed at maximum speed toward Taiwan Strait. Prepare for combat operations. Strike Group composition: USS Carl Vinson, CVN-70, Nimitz-class carrier, 75 aircraft. USS Lake Erie, CG-70, Ticonderoga-class cruiser. USS Chaffee, DDG-90, Arleigh Burke destroyer. USS Gridley, DDG-101, Arleigh Burke destroyer. USS Sampson, DDG-102, Arleigh Burke destroyer. 5 American warships versus 87 Chinese, outnumbered 17-1. But Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force quietly deployed support. JS Maya, DDG-179, Aegis destroyer. JS Haguro, DDG-180, Aegis destroyer. JS Kumano, FFM-2, Mogami-class frigate. JS Noshiro, FFM-3, Mogami-class frigate. 4 Japanese ships adding firepower. Total, 9 Allied warships versus 87 Chinese, still outnumbered nearly 10-1. January 28th, 4 a.m. Chinese fleet reached positions. Northern force approaching from East China Sea. Eastern force from Philippine Sea, Southern force from South China Sea, 3-pronged encirclement. At 5:30 a.m., China issued global notice. People's Liberation Army Navy conducting maritime safety operation around Taiwan, starting 6 a.m. January 28, 2026. All civilian vessels prohibited from entering designated zone. Duration indefinite. This is a peaceful security measure. International community requested to respect Chinese sovereignty enforcement. Immediate global reaction. Pentagon statement. Chinese blockade of Taiwan constitutes act of war under international law. United States opposes unilateral coercion. We stand with Taiwan. Freedom of navigation will be maintained. Tokyo. Japan cannot accept forcible change to regional status quo. We support peaceful resolution. But Beijing committed. At 6 a.m., 87 Chinese warships activated blockade positions. Northern force established a line from Fuzhou to northern Taiwan, blocking all northern approaches. Eastern force formed an arc along Taiwan's Pacific coast, intercepting all eastern shipping. Southern force sealed southern passages through Luzon Strait, cutting off southern routes. Taiwan completely surrounded, every port covered, no ships entering, no ships leaving. Perfect blockade.
At 6:24 a.m., a civilian container ship from the Philippines approached Taiwan, heading toward Kaohsiung Port. A Chinese Type 052D destroyer moved to intercept the vessel. The Chinese ship transmitted a radio message stating the area had navigation restrictions and requested the merchant ship change course. The container ship captain responded via radio, indicating his vessel was operating in international waters with legal passage rights to Taiwan ports. The Chinese destroyer then fired warning shots from its cannons. The shells landed in the water ahead of the merchant vessel. The container ship changed direction and moved away from Taiwan. The blockade was preventing commercial traffic from reaching the island. On Taiwan, Captain Morrison and his 240 Marines received an update about the Chinese naval presence around the island. The message indicated personnel should maintain readiness while extraction planning was underway. Morrison spoke with his Marines, explaining their position remained secure and they would hold their current location pending further instructions. At 6:30 a.m., the USS Carl Vinson Strike Group, which was moving toward Taiwan, received updated orders. The orders stated the Chinese blockade violated maritime law and directed the group to proceed toward Taiwan to support navigation rights and prepare for personnel extraction. Admiral Richardson communicated with his task force about their mission to ensure international waters remained accessible. He indicated they should prepare for upcoming naval operations. At 6:35 a.m., the Vincent launched 36 aircraft. This included 30 F-35C fighters, 12 FA-18 Super Hornets, and 4 electronic warfare planes. The aircraft departed on their assigned mission toward the area. At the same time, 4 Japanese destroyers activated their monitoring systems to observe the Chinese fleet. The ships maintained readiness status. In the waters around the region, 16 submarines were operating. This included 8 American submarines, 4 Japanese submarines, and 4 Taiwanese submarines. These vessels were conducting standard naval patrols in the area.
20 underwater platforms tracking Chinese vessels, awaiting authorization. At 6:40 a.m., Chinese Eastern Task Force detected approaching aircraft. 36 radar contacts identified as American naval aviation, heading directly toward Blockade perimeter. Chinese Fleet Commander transmitted to Beijing. American aircraft formation approaching, substantial numbers. Request engagement authorization. Do we activate defensive measures? Beijing Command response. Demonstrate presence only. Do not initiate hostilities. American aircraft conducting reconnaissance. They will not engage. Maintain blockade positions. Hold firm. At 6:45 a.m., American F-35s reached Chinese fleet coordinates, flew directly over destroyer formations, low-altitude flight profile, demonstrating operational capability, freedom of navigation enforcement. Chinese destroyers tracked aircraft movements, fire control systems activated, surface-to-air missile batteries ready, but maintained defensive posture, awaiting authorization. F-35s completed overflight. Chinese vessels remained unengaged. American aircraft continued toward Taiwan. Beijing assessment transmitted. American aircraft maintained non-hostile posture, conducted observation only. Blockade maintained successfully. Taiwan remains isolated. But at 6:50 a.m., Chinese Southern Task Force detected incoming surface vessels, 9 warships, American and Japanese flags, heading directly toward blockade boundary, speed 30 knots, course intercept. Chinese Task Force commander transmitted multiple Allied warships approaching southern operational sector, requesting engagement parameters. Beijing Command, demonstrate deterrence measures only. Do not engage American vessels with lethal force. International incident must be avoided. Compel course reversal only. At 6:55 a.m., Chinese Southern Task Force formed defensive line, 28 vessels, prepared to physically maintain the blockade perimeter. Lead Chinese Type 055 cruiser transmitted to USS Carl Vinson. American Task Force, your vessels are approaching designated maritime security zone. Request immediate course correction. Passage will not be permitted. This constitutes final advisory. Admiral Richardson transmitted response. Chinese fleet, your forces are conducting unlawful blockade in international waters. Your vessels must yield passage. We are proceeding to Taiwan territorial waters. Adjust positions or face consequences. Chinese transmission. We will not yield position. This is authorized security operation. Richardson's final transmission. Then defensive measures are now authorized. At 7:05, 41 minutes after blockade commenced,
American and Japanese task forces reached Chinese southern defensive line, distance 20 kilometers, closing rapidly. Chinese destroyers prepared defensive warning measures, weapons systems armed, targeting solutions calculated. But what Chinese Naval Command didn't anticipate, what intelligence hadn't detected, would decisively alter the tactical situation in the next 41 minutes.
7:05 a.m. Allied task force 20 kilometers from Chinese southern line. Chinese destroyers preparing to fire. But Admiral Richardson had planned every detail, calculated every move, and his advantage was already in position. At 7:05:30, Richardson gave order that changed everything. Submarine force, you are weapons free. Engage hostile fleet. Break the blockade. 16 submarines surrounding entire Chinese fleet received authorization simultaneously. 8 U.S. Virginia-class subs launched Mark 48 torpedoes, most advanced torpedoes on Earth, wire-guided, acoustic homing, 650-pound warheads designed to break destroyers in half. 4 Japanese Soryu-class subs fired Type 89 torpedoes, equally deadly, equally precise. 4 Taiwanese submarines launched older but effective weapons. Every torpedo mattered. Total, 64 torpedoes launched in 30 seconds, all targeting Chinese ships. Underwater massacre beginning. At 7:06 a.m., Chinese Southern Task Force detected torpedo launches. Passive sonar operators screaming, "Torpedoes in water! Multiple launches! Bearing all around! We're surrounded!" 28 Chinese ships suddenly realized they weren't hunters. They were prey. Submarines had been waiting. Blockade was trap. Chinese ships activated anti-torpedo systems, noisemakers deployed, evasive maneuvers, emergency turns, chaos. But 64 torpedoes against 28 ships, 2 torpedoes per target, some ships facing 3, no escape. At 7:06:45, first impacts. 4 Chinese Type 054A frigates struck simultaneously. Mark 48 torpedoes punched through hulls below waterline. Massive explosions, ships lifting partially out of water from underwater detonations. 4 frigates within seconds catastrophically damaged, flooding, sinking, crews abandoning ship. Chinese commander radioed Beijing, voice panicked. "We're under attack! Submarine ambush! Multiple torpedoes! Ships sinking! Request immediate support!" Beijing, stunned. "You said Americans were bluffing." "Commander, they're not bluffing! They're killing us!" At 7:07 a.m., more impacts. 6 Chinese Type 056 corvettes hit. Smaller ships, less survivable. Torpedoes broke them apart. All 6 sinking within minutes. Chinese Eastern Task Force witnessing destruction on radar, attempted breaking blockade. 31 ships turning away, trying to escape, abandoning positions. But submarines were everywhere. 8 more torpedoes launched, hunting fleeing destroyers. At 7:07:30, 3 Type 052D destroyers struck. 7,000-ton warships, pride of Chinese Navy. Torpedoes destroyed propulsion, crippled, dead in water. Chinese Northern Task Force, seeing carnage, radioed Beijing. "Southern Force destroyed. Eastern Force withdrawing. What are our orders?" Beijing, paralyzed by shock. "Hold positions. Don't abandon blockade. Reinforcements coming." But no reinforcements existed. This was China's entire available fleet, and it was dying. At 7:08 a.m., USS Carl Vinson Strike Group reached engagement range, 20 kilometers from remaining Chinese ships. Admiral Richardson, surface warfare doctrine, ship killing time. All ships fire Harpoon missiles, target Chinese destroyers, maximum effect. USS Lake Erie, Chaffee,
Gridley, and Samson all fired RGM-84 Harpoon anti-ship missiles. 4 missiles per ship, 16 Harpoons total. Sea skimming, 221-kilogram warheads, designed to break destroyers in half. Japanese destroyers Maya and Haguro fired Type 90 anti-ship missiles. 16 Japanese missiles launched. Total, 32 anti-ship cruise missiles, all targeting Chinese Eastern Task Force, ships already panicking from submarine attacks and emergency maneuvers. At 7:09 a.m., Chinese Eastern Force detected incoming missiles. Radar operators, anti-ship missiles inbound, count 32, bearing multiple. 31 Chinese ships activated air defenses, HQ-16 SAM systems firing, HQ-10 point defense engaging, desperate attempts at interception. Chinese SAMs destroyed 14 incoming missiles, good defense, but 18 missiles still coming, against 31 ships struggling after torpedo attacks and emergency maneuvers. At 7:12 a.m., first impacts. 4 Chinese Type 054D destroyers struck. Missiles hit above waterline. Superstructures exploded. Radar systems destroyed. Communications obliterated. Ships burning.
Japanese Type 90s hit 3 Type 054A frigates. Precision strikes, warheads detonating in magazine spaces, secondary explosions, ammunition cooking off, ships gutted. Chinese Eastern Task Force effectively neutralized. 11 ships hit by torpedoes or missiles, 7 sinking, 4 crippled, 20 remaining but disorganized, fleeing. Blockade broken. At 7:13 a.m., 36 American aircraft from Vincent reached Chinese Northern Task Force. 28 ships attempting to maintain blockade positions, refusing to withdraw despite southern and eastern disasters. F-35C Lightning IIs targeted ships with AGM-158C LRASM missiles, long-range anti-ship missiles, most advanced naval weapons. Artificial intelligence guidance, can't be jammed, can't be fooled. 20 F-35s fired 40 LRASMs, 2 per aircraft. 12 FA-18 Super Hornets fired 24 Harpoons. Total, 64 anti-ship missiles against 28 Chinese ships, more than 2 missiles per target. At 7:14 a.m., Chinese Northern Force detected massive missile barrage, desperate air defense, HQ-9 long-range SAMs firing, HQ-16 medium-range engaging, point defense active, everything shooting. Chinese SAMs destroyed 28 missiles, excellent defense, best of entire battle, but 36 missiles still incoming, against 28 ships. At 7:17 a.m., impacts began. LRASM missiles using AI targeting selected highest value targets. 4 Type 055 cruisers, China's newest, most powerful warships, all struck. Multiple hits each, massive damage, cruisers burning, combat ineffective. 8 Type 052D destroyers hit, 5 sinking, 3 crippled. 4 Type 054A frigates struck, all sinking within minutes. Chinese Northern Task Force annihilated. 28 ships engaged, 18 hit by missiles, 12 sinking, 6 crippled, 4 attempting escape. At 7:20 a.m., 15 minutes after submarine attack began, Chinese blockade completely shattered. Southern Task Force, 28 ships, 10 sunk by torpedoes, 8 crippled, 10 fleeing. Eastern Task Force, 31 ships, 7 sunk, 4 crippled, 20 withdrawing. Northern Task Force, 28 ships, 12 sunk, 6 crippled, 10 retreating. Total Chinese losses, 87 ships engaged, 29 sunk, 18 crippled, 40 escaping with damage. Allied Task Force entered, 0 ships hit, 0 sailors wounded. Not 1 Chinese missile reached target. Not 1 Chinese missile reached target.
At 7:25 a.m., Allied task force entered Taiwan Strait. Blockade broken. Chinese fleet destroyed or fleeing. Mission accomplished. But Marines still needed extraction. At 7:30 a.m., USS Carl Vinson launched helicopter assault package, 8 MV-22B Ospreys, tilt rodders, carrying extraction teams, heading to Taiwan. Mission: extract 240 Marines before China regrouped. Captain Morrison and Marines watched the battle from coastal positions, saw Chinese ships burning, explosions on the horizon, understood cavalry arrived, blockade broken, time to leave. Morrison: Marines, pack it up, rides here, we're going home. At 7:45 a.m., Ospreys landed at Taiwanese airbase. Marines boarded rapidly, full combat gear, weapons, equipment, everything extracted. By 8:05 a.m., 41 minutes after submarine attack began, all 240 Marines airborne, heading to USS Carl Vinson. Extraction complete. Taiwan's ports immediately reopened. Container ships resumed operations. Island no longer blockaded. China's stranglehold completely broken. The blockade China thought would avoid war instead started one, and China lost catastrophically.
January 28, 2026. The day China tried strangling Taiwan. The day blockade became battlefield. 6:24 a.m. China deploys 87 warships, complete encirclement, total blockade. 240 Marines trapped, Taiwan isolated. Perfect plan. 7:05 a.m. Allied submarines attack. 64 torpedoes, 29 Chinese ships sunk, 18 crippled. Blockade shattered. 7:45 a.m. 41 minutes later, Marines extracted. Taiwan free. Chinese fleet destroyed. Operation complete. This is what happens when blockades meet submarines, when coercion meets force, when stranglehold meets firepower. You can deploy 87 ships, form perfect circle, announce peaceful measures, claim bloodless victory, but you cannot blockade allies of United States, cannot trap U.S. Marines, cannot strangle democracies, cannot expect America won't fight. 87 ships launched, 64 torpedoes answered, 41 minutes, catastrophic defeat. Blockade is war. War has consequences. Consequences are destruction. Never trap Marines, never blockade Taiwan, never test American submarines. Because 41 minutes later, your fleet is history, your sailors are casualties, your blockade is broken. Taiwan remains free, strait remains open, democracy survives, China remembers. The stranglehold broke. The fleet sank. The blockade failed. Freedom always has submarines. Submarines always have torpedoes. Torpedoes always win.